Hi, I'm Jared Hillam. A couple of years ago, I was presented to something called a columnar database. It was accompanied by a demo where the presenter queried several billions of rows in less than 3 seconds. I waited patiently for magic fairies to fly out of the server, but soon after I realized that this solution was simply taking a far more logical approach to acquiring large sums of data. Today I'm going to share a simple exercise which will help you see the power of using a columnar database for certain tasks. To illustrate this exercise, I'm going to use a good old Excel spreadsheet, populated with some baseball statistics. Let's imagine that you are going to play the role of a traditional database. Before I have you play this role, though, you need to know that there's a rule. You have to read the data from left to right, starting from the beginning of each row as you go from row to row, kind of like reading a book. So let's begin. Traditional database, please retrieve for me all of the American League teams. Okay, I've asked for 2 columns of data, leagues and teams. Here goes. As you read the data, notice that you're retrieving the league and team on each pass of every row, and eventually you'll acquire all of the American leagues and their associated teams. Now, servers do this very quickly. However, what if my request has several billions of rows? You can start to see that reading each row just to grab the league and teams column could take a while. And this is where a columnar database comes in handy. We're going to redo the exercise one more time, but instead of giving you traditional database rules, I'm going to give you columnar database rules. This means you're going to read the data from top to bottom, and you're only going to read the columns I ask you to. Okay, columnar database, please retrieve for me all of the American League teams. Let's begin. Notice that this method skips all the data that isn't related to what you're looking for. Once we're done getting that information, we start with the next column, skipping the columns that you don't need. But wait a second. How does the computer know which league to assign each team it's retrieving? The way it does this is that the columnar database assigns a number to each row of data, allowing it to quickly pair up the many columns that it retrieves. You can see how this really comes in handy when you start reading the teams column. All it needs to know is which number the American League values ended at. In this case, row 258, meaning I just need teams from 1 to 258. Now you probably noticed how the columnar database was repeating American over and over. This is actually another advantage of the columnar database. By using the numbering system in the columnar database, algorithms can be used to simplify the retrieval of data. And you'll find that each columnar database system has highly sophisticated methods of gaining further performance measures. Knowing what I know now, I realized that the presentation I sat through a few years ago wasn't reading billions of rows of data. It was just reading a few long columns of data. Columnar databases can be a very straightforward way of addressing the mounds of data corporations have to wade through. Now, they're not a replacement for traditional databases, but certainly a powerful way of doing highly aggregated analysis. Intricity specializes in providing leading-edge solutions for today's complex data problems. I encourage you to visit Intricity's website and talk with one of our specialists, and I commit to you that we'll live up to our slogan of simplifying complexity.